Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Fed Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is November 10, 2023, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, markets really tapering off. And this is on the back of Fed Chairman Powell yesterday speaking and just saying that he's going to keep an eye on the markets and there are no surprises. So looking at today's major economic events. So today at 5 p.m. South African time out of the United States, we have a UoM Consumer Sentiment number coming out. Now looking at the market, starting out with the Forex symbols, the British pound continues to retrace, while looking at the big board in the indices, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ are really tapering off and really unchanged. And as we look at commodities, gold and oil remains unchanged. And looking at the stocks, they're mostly holding on to their gains, but trickling down some of them. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin holding on to its gains. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're going to start with the British pound, and this was the weaker one between the euro and between the British pound versus the dollar. The British pound was the weaker one. We mentioned it over the last couple of days, and sure enough, it trickles all the way down. Now, on the last day, you kind of gotten a trade of 70 pips on the downside. On one lot, that's $700 in one day of trading, just like that, and it gave it to you, okay? It really was very characteristic. It showed tremendous weakness. All you had to do is just hold it down to its lows after retracing from that spike up. Now, jumping into commodities, not doing much, okay? So I'm just going to cover it just because we cover it. 1955 for gold. I do expect it still to retrace almost to 1900. It's getting a bounce here, as you know, there's probably some short covering squeeze as this is happening. When you have a sell-off, you have people who are short and they got to cover their shorts. So all of a sudden you've got this artificial bounce. And this may be that. Okay, so just keep that in mind as this may still sell off. Now looking at crude oil, it trickled down even further, about $1, and now it is bouncing at 76.04. It was trading a little bit lower than that this morning, but it could be a point where it's going to bounce off of it, okay? Now, this is choppy trading, okay? I'd rather trade something that's trending, much easier to trade, okay? Especially when you don't want to start looking to pick bottoms. Picking bottoms is not a good business to trade in, okay? You want to be in a situation where the trend is still happening and continuing away. Now, if you're shorted, you might want to unload here a little bit and then keep the rest to see if it's going to sell off later. Now, looking at the U.S. markets, not doing much, but tapering off. We tapered off about 300 points on the Dow Jones here, okay, which is decent, okay? I mean, it hit almost 34,300-ish level. We're at 34,000, almost even. And that's a big comeback where we were from 32,400. That's a 1,600-point move on the upside. So there's still activity here. The question is how much further we're going to go higher at these levels. And we're dependent on the stocks. Now looking at the NASDAQ, tapering off also 15,300 level to 15,200 level. It's 100 points. It's not a big deal. If we look at the individual stocks, they all tapered off. Microsoft, which was the strongest one, which was the one at 363, almost challenging. It's 366-ish level, tapered off to 360, okay? And we are trading at that point right now. Now, looking at the other major stocks, okay? Amazon, which was the stronger one also. Those two were the pair. They also tapered off. People are taking some money off the table as we're hitting closer to resistance-ish level in this type of environment. Apple also tapering off just a little bit, but not by much. CISCO had a gap down. And CISCO is coming out with quarterly earning reports next week. So this may be something interesting to develop in the next few days. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin extended its gains and then retraced. So we're really unchanged really day to day. We're at 36,600-ish level. Yesterday we are at 35,700-ish level. So this did move on the upper side, and it is challenging it. The question is whether or not it can sustain it, okay? As it's perking up, as it's spiking, whether or not it can sustain it, or it's going to make one of these like fallouts, and you're going to have a complete correction, a V formation on the upside, right? An upside down V, right? And just like you have with the Dow Jones right now, you had the big sell-off to 32,400, and then we went up to 34,000. That's a classic move in the markets. And we may see that, especially when you get these type of spikes, that you get some sort of counter move on the opposite direction with the same velocity and the same quantity, which means it'll be complete correction. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the case here, but keep an eye on it because it could be a opportunity or potential threat depending on what side you are on the market. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.